The United States is calling for a new and modernized nuclear arms control agreement with Russia.
Now, the previous agreement with Russia has expired and prompting fears of a new global arms race. In a social media post issued on the day the pact lapsed, U.S. President Donald Trump said America should pursue a new, improved and modernized treaty rather than extend previous one called the New START Treaty. He criticized the existing agreement as poorly negotiated and claimed it had been violated.
Just days earlier, on February 3rd, former U.S. President Barack Obama warned that failure by Congress to act would allow the last remaining nuclear arms control treaty to expire. He said that such an outcome would erase decades of diplomacy and could trigger a new arms race, making the world less safe.
Now, New START was the last remaining nuclear arms control agreement between Washington and Moscow and parts of a series of Cold War-era treaties that limited strategic weapons. Now, beyond numerical caps on nuclear warheads deployed on submarines, missiles and bombers, the treaty included inspection and transparency measures that helped reduce mistrust between the two nuclear powers.
Security analysts warn that the absence of formal limits increases the risk of miscalculation, potentially encouraging both countries to expand their nuclear arsenals. And this particularly as China continues a rapid buildup of its own nuclear capabilities.
Now, Russian officials have signaled readiness for dialogue. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said Moscow remains open to talks on limiting strategic weapons if Washington responds constructively. However, Russia's foreign ministry said earlier proposals for a short-term extension of the treaty had gone unanswered.
In a related development, the United States and Russia have agreed to resume high-level military-to-military dialogue, contacts that were suspended in 2021, shortly before Russia's invasion of Ukraine. U.S. European Command confirmed the decision, calling it a step towards restoring communication between the world's two largest nuclear powers.
Now, since returning to office in 2025, President Trump has restored direct communications with Moscow, including talks and a summit with President Vladimir Putin.
Now, with New START Treaty, which is now expired, attention turns to whether Washington and Moscow can replace the last major guardrail, limiting nuclear forces that together account for about 85% of the world's nuclear warheads.
And to give us more details, our correspondent Susan Theani sent us this report from New York.
The New START nuclear treaty between the United States and Russia has expired. It was the last agreement limiting how many long-range nuclear weapons the two countries could have. President Donald Trump ultimately chose not to extend it, saying instead he wants a new and stronger agreement, possibly one that includes China. But China, at least for now and so far, has refused to join any nuclear talks. This matters for more than just paperwork. Without this treaty, the United States and Russia lose inspection and transparency that helped avoid mistakes and miscalculations as well. Critics warn that this could increase the risk of a new nuclear arms buildup. Supporters of a New Deal, however, say that this moment reflects a changing environment, a changing world with more nuclear power and new threats, but reaching a broader agreement will be much harder. The UN says the timing is dangerous, but it also sees it as a chance and an opportunity to rethink arms control in today's world. Susan Tahrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.